Hey, this is Mike Stidle with MSP Success Magazine, and welcome. We got a bunch of people piling in here. We've got a great uh, event for you today. Just going to take a second or two while everybody gets in. I know when we open the doors, it takes a second. So we got 30, 40, 50 people piling in already, and it's going up. But we've got an absolutely awesome event for you today. We've got, as you can see, we've got several presenters going to come at you from all angles on here. We've got a MSP or a former MSP business owner. So he's been in the trenches for years, probably decades, doing what you're doing, be able to talk to you. That way you're going to get a live demo of exactly how this works, as well as just a run through on all the benefits, how to use it in your business. So we'll get started in just a second. Okay, it looks like just about everyone's getting in. So once again, this is Mike Stidle with MSP Success Magazine. And usually I do like an intro of what we're going to do, but this is so cool. We met with Dave and Tim and Brian last week, and we're just blown away about this new software that's come out that's really totally unlike anything that we've seen for MSPs, and it hits it differently. This isn't a big cybersecurity product. This is about adding dollars straight back into your bottom line, getting you paid, saving you time. One of the biggest things we hear from the MSPs we work with is that they don't have time to do anything more. So we want to give you your time back and actually get you paid for what you're already doing, and that's what this is about. So without further ado, Dave, I'm going to hand this over to you. And if you guys have questions, make sure you throw them into the Q&A and we'll get those answered on here. But Dave, it's all yours.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. I absolutely understand the value of time and the value of energy and how important it is now to look at where we're investing our time and our energy, and to ensure that we're maximizing the return on investment that we're getting from that investment of time and energy. So even just in this engagement today, this webinar, I appreciate you taking the time to spend with us today. And we're going to try to fill this time with as much value as we possibly can. I think we've got the thing scheduled for about an hour. Please do engage with us. The best way to engage with us, because we can't see virtually all of your beautiful faces on the Zoom here, because there's so many people that have joined us today. Engage with us in the chat. Get into the Q&A. If you've got a question now, drop it into the Q&A as we're moving through the event today. If you have questions that come up, there's no bad questions. Let me start here. Are you making the world a better place? So sit with that for a minute, because I think we all want to be a part of something that makes the world a better place. And so to me, everything that I do is to serve, and is to serve the world something better. And so when I think of the channel, and in particular, I think of managed service providers, I think of small to medium-sized businesses. The majority of managed service providers are small to medium-sized businesses. The majority of the customers that you serve, that we serve, are small to medium-sized businesses. If you do not understand the value of small to medium-sized businesses, go and do some research. It is compelling, and it has driven me to this beautiful channel and to serve. Small to medium-sized businesses employ more people globally than large businesses. Small to medium-sized businesses fuel the economy more than large businesses. So what we can say is that small to medium-sized businesses are essential to the global economy. And I believe that they're essential to community. And I believe that small businesses make the world a better place. And that's why I serve small to medium-sized businesses and why I serve the channel. Now, no bones about it, MSPs are serving essential businesses. If we didn't know that before, it definitely came to light during the pandemic. You're serving essential businesses. You are an essential business, right? And so that's what's driving me to invest my time and energy in serving you today and in continuing to serve this channel every single day that I'm at Gradient. And I have an absolute pleasure to serve you today. So let me ask you a question. Time waste. How do you feel about time waste? People don't know this about me, but I get extremely annoyed with time waste. And it's a bit of an ironic statement because I talk too much. The feedback that I get all the time is, Goldie, you got to be more clear and concise. Or, you know, if you ask Goldie a question, you're going to get way more than you asked for. So stay tuned, 'tis true. However, I hate time waste and I get annoyed by time waste. You know what's even worse than time waste is if what is wasting our time is something that is annoying. Isn't that the like double whammy? I'm having my time wasted. I don't have time to be wasted. I would rather be doing something else with my time. For me personally, I'm a dad. I got 2 kids. I got little Alexander that's 4.5 and Olivia that's 18 months old. And that's where I want my time to be. I want to maximize the time with my family and with my kids, right? But there's time waste out there. And then some of the things that are wasting my time are annoying. Okay, then during the pandemic and still today for us up here locked up in Canada, we're working from home. So we have tasks that are wasting our time, that are annoyances. And then what happens? I don't know about for you, my desk is right in the corner of my dining room. Do you know how much my wife hates it when I've experienced time waste, especially with something that's annoying? Because what happens? There comes grumpy Goldie, you know, right from the office, straight into the kitchen to take out his frustrations on his family or just being a grumpy Gus. Why do we do this? Why do we waste our time with things, especially that are annoying? So what's the topic du jour? The topic du jour is, of course, you know, we want to let you guys know who Gradient is and what we're up to, and we're going to make that real simple. But before I go down that path, I want to make sure that everybody here understands we value this community. I have been engaging with this community for my entire channel career. It is the community that first welcomed me to the channel. I didn't know 6 years ago what an MSP was. I didn't know what the channel was. I knew a lot about sales and a lot about sales leadership and a lot about relationships and a lot about strategic business growth and scaling a business and those sorts of things. But I didn't know what an MSP was. I came into the channel and I was embraced by this community. And I was able to engage with MSPs in this community and vendors in this community and ask questions. Tell me about your business. Tell me about what's important to you. You know, what are your goals? Is your goal growth? Is your goal to exit and to sit on a catamaran in the Bahamas? You know, is your goal to spend more time with your family, to spend more time doing the things that we love and the things that are more important, right? And then you taught me what an MSP is and the challenges that you're facing and how to overcome those challenges. So I thank you. I would not be where I am today without all of you. And so when I came to Gradient, this was my first mission, was to partner with this community to figure out a way where we could bring as much value, great experiences, opportunities to learn and to grow together. And so we have formed a partnership like no other with this community. And so this is just the first real engagement for us for the year. So thank you for engaging with us. You're going to see us at all of the engagements in this community. And so please come and engage with us. We're going to bring some awesome experiences. We're going to bring opportunities to learn and to grow and to overcome challenges together. And we're going to bring the channel together, working better together. That's it. We love MSPs. We think it's hard enough for an MSP to run your business. We want to help you run your business. We want to make it easier. We want to give you time back. We want to try to eliminate some time waste. We want to try to eliminate some pain. Hey, if there's an opportunity where we can discover some money together, let's do it. I'll be honest, I'm a sales leader, so it is all about the revenue for me. So let's block and roll seriously here and let's get going. But we love this community and we love this partnership. Another thought-provoking question. What if you never had to reconcile billing again? Let that sit for a minute. You guys, thank you filled out some survey questions for us. And we appreciate Mike and Jeff and everybody for doing this for us, and for all of you for giving us these responses. This is pretty exciting stuff. You take a look at the survey. First off, I am just blown away by how many of you actually participated in this survey. I know like how little time you have and how little time you probably have for surveys. So one of the questions was, how many hours per month do you currently spend on billing reconciliation? So let's just quickly analyze that data. There's these people in kind of the 1 to 3 hour mark, and that's great. You know, it seems to me like you've probably got this thing dialed in pretty good, and that's awesome. Then we look in the category of 3 to 6 hours, 6 to 10 hours, 10 plus hours. Let's add all of that up together. What's happening? There's like way over 60% of you right now that are saying, I am spending more than 3 hours. I am spending too much time on billing reconciliation. There are those 6 to 8% there that are not doing it right now. So like, I've got a question for you. Engage with us in the chat. What are you doing? Are you actually just not doing it? Or does that mean like somebody else is doing it for you? Or let's dig a little bit deeper into that. But I think we can all agree the majority of us are spending too much time on this task that is a waste of our time. 62% of respondents, right? 62% are spending more than 3 hours when they don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to. Why? Why are we wasting our time? Okay, then this one, I mean, came as no surprise to me. How much do you hate like spending time on billing reconciliation, right? So let's go through it, right? There's some smaller percentages there of people who maybe love it. I'm gonna be honest, I'd love to meet you. You know, in some ways people come to me and they're like, dude, you're crazy, you're sick in the head. Like, why do you work in sales leadership? You should just sell and go make a bunch of money. Don't get distracted by the leadership piece. And then people go to me like, why are you working at a startup? It's insane. You're doing like 60, 70 hours a week. You're working all through the night. Like, you're crazy. Why do you do that? Well, I'm crazy. And so there are some crazy people out there, right? And so no offense, if you love billing reconciliation, help me understand, because I have witnessed MSPs doing billing reconciliation. I cannot fathom a possibility on how anybody would love that. But maybe you're an accountant and maybe that's just your jam. Definitely not my jam, right? If we look at this here, we've got massive percentages as we start to move into the I don't like this or I really hate this task, right? Okay, there's only 2.3%, right? That are maybe crazy like me. And the rest of us are like, yeah, we hate this task. And there's definitely something that we could be doing better with our time. Golfing, for sure. I love golfing and people know I suck at golf. And the reason that I suck at golf is because to be good at golf, you got to get out there and you got to golf. I don't have time for golfing. I mean, between startup world, channel, family, home, doing the yard and all the other stuff that I'm doing, I don't get to swing the sticks too often. So if you're out there swinging the sticks, I dig it. I love it. Okay, so let me backtrack here. Just like stop sharing my presentation for a sec. Just pause and just go, are we all on the same page? Like get jiggy with us in the chat right now. Are we all on the same page? We don't like time waste. We especially don't like time waste for things that frustrate us. We all agree that we're wasting time on billing reconciliation. And we all agree that we hate billing reconciliation, except for the small percentage, right, of the crazies. I love you crazies. But now, okay, there's also another piece, right? There's this is a time waste. This is a painful task. There's also this other piece, okay? So when we were, you know, doing market research and trying to figure out the best way that we could serve the channel and help MSPs and make your business run better and make your lives easier, give you back some more time for the things that are important to you, We did some focus groups when it came to billing reconciliation. And in those focus groups, we put some value statements out there. And we were like, okay, is it the time waste? Is it the pain of the task? And actually, the feedback that we got surprised us. The majority of the people in the focus groups said, I want to get paid for everything that I do. So we sort of stopped and said, wait a minute, what? Are people like really not getting paid for everything that they do? Like, we didn't really anticipate that. So we went and did some market research. And our initial market research said to us, 3 to 10% of an MSP's revenue is being left on the table. 3 to 10%. All right. Is that substantial? I don't know. If you're $1 million MSP and you're trying to grow, what would 100 grand every year mean to you, right? Is that what would 10% $1 million MSP, 100 grand? What does that mean to you? That got me thinking like, oh man, I spend so much time talking to MSPs about like the marketing and sales motions and trying to acquire new customers. And also how do we expand revenue with our existing customers and all the best practices that we can do, and spending a lot of time on cutting waste, right? On eliminating time waste and reducing our biggest cost of goods sold, our labor costs essentially, right? And maximizing profitability. And so I started thinking, wow, this is a big problem and we need to investigate this even further. And so we started talking to more MSPs, and then we started seeing stories. We started witnessing them doing billing reconciliation. And because it's such a time-consuming task and because it's so painful, some MSPs just don't do it. They're just like, whatever, I got 1,000 tickets and I got, clients that are maybe going to leave, and I got fire hose and problems and patch the dam, and let's just not let this ship sink, right? So they're not even doing it. Then we started looking at, okay, what is this? Like, why is this happening? Okay, so as we started watching MSPs do this task, then we saw the problem. The problem is this: an MSP goes, you know what? I don't want to overcharge the customer, because if I overcharge the customer, I might lose a customer, or there might be this loss of trust in the relationship that is fundamentally built upon trust and service, serving IT to people and having them trust you with one of the fundamentals of their business. So again, back to what I said before, you are essential. You are making the world a better place, right? But then what the MSP does during this exercise is go, it's just $2 a month per user for this resale product. I'm not going to go and charge the customer too much. Who cares? It's just a couple bucks per user per month. Death by 1,000 cuts. When you do that, that compounds, that multiplies. That's where this problem comes from. And then we started hearing stories from people. I spoke with one MSP, and we don't have the permission to share their name right now, but really the feedback that we got from them was astounding. They had discovered through their manual billing reconciliation process that they were not charging for MFA licenses. $4 per user per month for 50 users for 18 months. Do the math, right? Fairly substantial. Then we also started interacting with MSPs on how much time this is taking. And I talked to an MSP who said to me, I don't know if I'm billing properly, and I don't know if I'm getting paid for everything that I'm doing. So we're going to go manually reconcile line by line, SKU by SKU, resale product by resale product. And we're going to go discover, if we are billing correctly. Took 3 people, 3 days. They still weren't done the exercise. They had discovered 20% of their revenue they were not billing for. This is staggering. At the very least, we want to come today with a solution. And the solution is not going to be to eliminate your time waste completely. We can help you reduce the time waste. Our solution is not going to be to alleviate all of your pain. It's going to be a pain reduction. And then what we're asking for is partner with us so that we can continue to increase the amount of time waste that we can eliminate and the amount of pain that we can eliminate. And let's discover together if there is revenue that's being left on the table. And at least so far, I haven't talked to one Gradient partner that has not been able to discover revenue being left on the table. So where's it going? Good question. Let's get going. I just want to make sure that, we're in line with the impact of, the discovery of revenue and what the impact on the business could be, right? If you are at a current state of a $50,000 MSP and you're able to increase your revenue by 10% by discovering more revenue, look at the impact on EBITDA. Look at the impact on the profit margin. This is big impact. So again, the shortest distance from A to B to me is, let's help with the time. Let's help with the pain. The best way to do billing is with Gradient's Billable. So at this stage, I'm now going to kick things off to Tim. Some of you may know Tim. I've known Tim for many, many years. We got engaged very early on in my career in the channel. And Tim was one of those wonderful people that was able to help me understand MSPs and how to influence MSPs operations to help their business reduce time waste and reduce pain and increase revenue and increase profitability in the business. And so it is my absolute pleasure to have the opportunity to introduce our new Director of Channel Engagement, Tim Coach. Tim, why don't you tell MSPs what's the real deal? Because don't trust me, Goldie's out there slogging stuff in the industry for, the last 7 years or whatever it's been. And so, Tim, what's the MSP real deal?
Yeah, I'd love to, Goldie. Thank you so much. So first of all, thank you to Mike and Will and the MSP success team for putting this together and then putting that survey together. That was such great information that came out of that survey. And it proves exactly what we're talking about here, right? So I am literally less 2 days short out of being where you all were sitting not a month ago, and then it made the change over to what some are calling the dark side. But I think I found a company that's bringing the light. And the reason why I say that is because you are the cobbler's kid of your own industry, right? So you're fixing everybody's computers, you're taking care of their needs, you're being consultative with them, you're trying to help them see where their future of the company is going. But what is the last thing that always gets taken care of? Well, it's usually the owner's computer, but that's beside the point because the techs are worried about everybody else. But that's the point, is you're the cobbler's kid. And what Gradient is doing is it's helping you be more successful in just simply doing business, right? So it's not a resell through to your customers. It's 100% focused on your business and how are we going to make your business better. Well, so let's talk about that. So obviously via the survey results, the biggest things we've seen are time waste, and I hate to do it, right? Now, we did get some survey information back from a lot of companies that absolutely believe that they're really close to doing it as best as they can. But let's talk about that, right? So it's death by 1,000 clicks, right? So Goldie said death by 1,000 cuts, but it's death by 1,000 clicks, because let's take half a minute and think about the process. So once something gets sold, whether it's a brand new contract or you just have a new user, right, added to a user price-based service offering, or maybe you're covering a new computer, or it's a new MSP or M365 license. How does that happen so that you guys can bill for that? Well, the reality of it is it takes someone to log into their PSA, because believe it or not everybody's logged into that all the time, right? So you got to log into the PSA. Then you got to hunt down the company. Now, we all know that's not really hard. You go up to the search bar and you put the company in and it auto-populates for you. Then you go in the company, then you go to the agreement, and then you find the product code of what you're looking for, whether it's user-based pricing or it's a single device, and then you upclick it, right? So that's time. That's precious time. So just by default, even if you're doing it right, you've actually built less efficiencies and latency into the environment, because that's all you've had to do. That's the only way you've been able to take care of the business and make sure you're billing correct, right? So what is the cost of time? Well, the reality of it is it's the cost of labor. So who is performing that job? Is it the owner? Is it a C-level? Is it an accountant? Is it a bookkeeper? right? Who's doing that and what is their hourly rate? And then you multiply that, right? So how do we give you that time back, and how do we create this to be much more of an efficient product and an efficient way to do that? Well, that's what we want to do. And the reason why we want to do that is because I'm an operational person and that's what I understand. So it's like, if I can give you a product, if we, Gradient, can deliver a product that allows you an easy place to go to, in 2 clicks, add that next level, or 3 clicks, add that next service level to your client, and then it goes in through the back end and automatically updates in the PSA for you. Now those people who are never logged into the PSA never have to log into the PSA, right? We've made it more efficient. We've taken out all the time and the latency it takes, and we make it a lot more enjoyable for someone to do. And it's not taking anywhere from 3 to 10 hours to get this done. So we often will pay thousands of dollars as an MSP, right? Like, we want to switch to products that make our job easier. So we'll pay thousands and thousands of dollars to switch a PSA, to switch an RMN, to switch to this product or that product, to make our lives more efficient. Yet we don't apply that to the administrative side of the house. Well, that's what Gradient's doing. We're helping take that operational excellence into the administrative side of the house, same way that you do in the technical side, in the sales side, process, procedures. How do I make it quicker? How do I make it faster? And how do I make it easy for my staff to do? So we're offering you a single pane of glass, much like we would do with what you would see out of a PSA or an RMM tool. That work can be done efficiently. And with that being said, let me hand it off to Brian Chapman, our manager of partner success, as he is going to do a demo for you guys. Brian?
Excellent. Thanks, Tim. And welcome. I too came from an MSP myself, and I dreaded billing reconciliation. I would normally be like hunkered down in my office for like 2 to 3 days straight. And if anyone were to even think to interrupt me, they would see the bane of my existence. And if they even did interrupt me, it would be just a godsend. So I definitely relate to all of who are on this webinar, that I feel that pain, and we're gonna make that better and try to eliminate as much pain as possible for you. So I'm gonna quickly share my screen here. Just bear with me. I'm going to. All right, so hopefully everyone sees my screen. Awesome, thanks, Goldie. Now, this is when you first connect your PSA to Billable. What Tim was explaining earlier is just that single pane of glass. This is your single page resale visibility. So just think of the amount of time that you spend on average with billing reconciliation. I myself, coming from an MSP, I would have numerous of tabs open in your browser. You'd be looking at various Excel spreadsheets and vendor export usage reports, et cetera, not to mention every time that you have to then go into your PSA to have death by 1,000 clicks, going into a single contract line item, only to adjust that one service item by whatever count. That in itself, we've then eliminated to the point where we're showing you this from a single page resale visibility, giving you the ability to track revenue and profit per service line. So you can see here that it's synced each service line within your PSA, within your product catalog, and grouped all of those services by that service line, giving you the ability to identify your cash cows right from the get-go. And this is great, just being able to identify not only those cash cows, but going back to what Goldie said about death by 1,000, but death by 1,000 cuts, is the fact that you can then drill down into those other services that may potentially, yeah, there might be an extra $2, $5 per line item, but you're really making sure that you're reconciling each and every one of those services that you resell to your customers. Overall, you're going to be able to see your profit and revenue. And the best part of all of this is the ease of use. So I can then very well open and expand your service line items. You can then go into and collect multiple service cards. You can approve those if there are no changes. So yeah, we're not eliminating it, all of the dreaded billing reconciliation, but we're mitigating that. We're helping you just remove and eliminate all of those unnecessary clicks, all of those unnecessary tabs open and clutter. It's just causing you a headache. We're allowing you to view this in a different way, normally in which your PSA never had or given you in the first place. So this is an opportunity for you to still have those tabs open, but avoid all of those unnecessary clicks. So you can then reconcile each service within that service line and quickly downgrade, upgrade those quantities, and immediately see the impact of those changes to your overall profit, revenue, and total changes within your PSA. This is fantastic. On top of that, you'll be able to then choose a proration date. Think of the importance of proration. Think of all that money left on the table, and I use that a lot. But there's just no other way of saying that. You're bound to leave money on the table, and this allows you to prorate those things effectively, and all in a matter of just a few little clicks, a few seconds. Boom, updated, removed from billable, automatically rewrites back to your PSA in a matter of seconds. Now, for all intents and purposes, I don't have the time to show you what that looks like on the back end in the PSA, but trust me, it's done, and it is in a matter of seconds. So you can then go through all of your services per service line and approve these. You can reconcile, no change, no change, no change. Maybe I'm adjusting this up to 10. I provision another 9 users, let's say, and I'm just going to go through each and every one of these and make those adjustments accordingly. Boom, you're done reconciling one service line, and you get confetti. Who doesn't love confetti? So it's fun. And here's the thing. The best part of all of this is that it's free. Think about that. It's free. There's no contract required. There's no credit card required. It's free to enter for anyone, because we value you as an MSP. We value you as a partner, and we want this to be free for everyone, because we truly think that this will help you. Now, let's talk about how we can elevate this. Let's talk about how we can make your life even easier. Right now, we have the ability to create CSV import profiles. Think about pretty much every vendor that you have has an ability to export usage, a CSV export file. And if not, come talk to us. We'll help you along that path. But either way, this is where you can quickly start a trial. And again, we don't ask for a credit card if you want to try this. We don't. And even if you do want to pay us, it's only $49 a month. It's peanuts. Think about all the time savings that you're going to be saving in doing this. Now, I'm going to show you just that, the CSV import profile, so you can then import and populate all of those usages, so you can then reconcile and streamline your billing reconciliation process. So I'm going to go ahead and start a trial, and I'm going to quickly drag and drop a CSV export file right into here. Boom. That's as easy as it gets. And we're going to go ahead and set up a new profile. And we're going to give this a nice little fancy name. And the whole point of this, for those interested, is that you might have a vendor which you have multiple vendor exports or usages. Think of Ingram Micro, AppRiver, Pax8. You have multiple services, and this allows you to create a profile for each of those vendor exports. So for all intents and purposes, I'm just going to give this associate this to Ingram Micro, and continue on to the next step. So it's as easy as just mapping those fields in conjunction with gradient, which you see on the left-hand pane, and your import file. And it's just a matter of dragging and dropping and mapping each of those. Boom, done, next. Now we're continuing on to mapping accounts. Now gradient is intelligent. It will try to match accounts for you, but there might be those that have some variations in names or what have you. This allows you to hide all those unwanted mapped accounts, and then you can quickly type in the name here, or if you wanted to, you can then click the little filter button here. It would scour your PSA, what's been synced with billable, and then again, just drag and drop. All your accounts are mapped. Phil the Flamingo, our spokesbird, is there to help you, and you can click next. Now, we're going to map the surfaces, and we're again going to hit those filter buttons because it's going to, we're actually syncing with your product catalog and all your contract line items. So there might be some small variations in names, and overall, we want to make sure that you are mapping those services to the right line item within your usage report. So we're going to go ahead and click and drag that over. We're going to do the same thing for premium user support. Click and drag that over. Boom. All surfaces mapped. How long did that take me? At the end of this wizard here, you'll get a little synopsis of what's going to be imported, and you can quickly save this profile and import. Now, Phil the Flamingo and all of our other flamingos are charging the flux capacitors and turning those hamster wheels, and in a matter of minutes or seconds, you're going to be able to review those updates. This is where the fun begins, because we will auto-populate those usages that you've imported from your vendor export into billable and cross-reference that to all of your services. So you can then, from a single pane of glass, reconcile your services. So you can see right from the get-go, I have found new revenue, meaning I've likely provisioned 126 units to BIFCO Enterprises, and I haven't billed them for it. That in itself is newfound revenue. Think of all that in itself paid for the $49 that we charge you every month. And we can quickly assign that to a previously existing contract within your PSA. And again, you can override the quantity. Maybe it was 125, and we can then set a proration date effective when we provision that service for your customer. Once that's all said and done, you can have a summary of changes again. We have a net new revenue for this particular service of $25,000, and we can quickly assign that. Boom, done. Rewrites to a contract. It's now a service line item within that contract for that particular user. And again, we can then go through this process of then drilling into each of one of these service cards. So you can see that this went up by 5 units. There is no change here, so we can reconcile this. I'm going to reconcile this. Okay, no change, reconcile, boom, 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 boom. Oh, wait a second, 2 units down for Umbrella Corporation. What happened? Did the zombies get them? I don't know. Let's, but again, we can adjust this and we can true that down to the proper unit. So again, that's how easy it is. And this is just the beginning, because we, in the first quarter of this year, have plans to integrate with several vendors. And Dave and Tim can speak to that. And if you do have any questions, feel free to jump into the chat. I'm going to hand it back to Goldie and Tim over there. Thank you so much, and look forward to working with you in the future.
Awesome job, Brian. Really appreciate that. I think this is probably, like, at least on a one-to-many kind of large setting like this, Brian's first webinar in a setting like this. I know you've been doing a lot of demos sort of one-to-one, but just awesome job, man. And I hope you guys got some value out of that. Tim, do we want to slug through just together some of these questions here? I know, we're kind of engaging in the chat a little bit, but we want to make sure that everybody's question gets answered. So German was talking about, we use QuickBooks, not the PSA, for the invoicing. And so one thing that I will say is, please just try out the product. It's free. I have had this conversation with a number of MSPs that are doing it the same way, and they are still right now seeing a huge amount of value in, Billable and Billable Pro in particular, in the recognition of the potential of things that are not being billed properly, even with the billing being done through QuickBooks. So don't think that there couldn't be value in the product for you right now. And then also, this is a conversation that we're having across the board with honestly just hundreds of vendors from an integration standpoint. And so, when we went on this mission, overall, our mission was about business operations automation. And Billable is really just the first use case that we've been able to introduce to the market of business operations automation. We know there's a lot of automation, right? And in particular on the service delivery side of things, you guys have a lot of automation. The feedback that we got from MSPs is that there was less automation on the business operations side. And so we decided to tackle billing reconciliation as an opportunity. And so we need MSPs to help us to shape this product by giving us feedback on additional features, on additional development that we need to do in the product. We also need MSPs to tell us what integrations, so on the resale side of things, what products are in your stack that you're reselling that you want us to integrate with, so it doesn't have to be a CSV import. Like, our vision is, as this continues to grow, more and more integrations, some of those created by Gradient. And of course, there's lots of other things that we're working on right now. We integrate with 8, 9, plan for 10 PSA integrations, very shortly here. So hopefully covering most of the PSAs. And then we can anticipate a number of integrations, QuickBooks being one of them, that we have definitely had discussion on. So, at this stage, no, there's not an integration with QuickBooks. Yes, it is something that is being discussed. Please partner with us. It's free. Get involved in the conversation. So when we do a QuickBooks integration, that integration is the most valuable QuickBooks integration that it can possibly be for all of the potential use cases that could be out there, depending upon how you are operating your business and the tools that you're using to operate your business. And in particular, in this case with Billable, making sure that we're serving you and your products and your process and your operations in the best way. But we're not going to be able to do all the integrations ourselves. There's no way. Like, as quickly as you are going to want us to do the integrations, and as quickly as we want to do the integrations, as many of them as there are out there, we're not going to be able to do them all ourselves. And so it's amazing what's happening now. We have a huge amount of vendors that are coming to us saying, we're going to build the integration because our partners are telling us to do it. And that's how you can help us to improve this as well. The more partners we have saying this integration is important, the more likely it is for that vendor to go and build that integration, because they're going to understand the importance of it based upon the number of partners that are saying, integrate with Billable. So join us, please, and help us to shape these integrations and drive these integrations to happen faster. But yeah, the short answer, sorry.
So one of the questions, we have a couple questions came in specifically asking about, so one is mapping, can you map customer name? And then that kind of goes along with being able, mapping by bundles, right? So the short answer is yes. So if I break it down to possibly the easiest way I can do that is if you look at Billable, right, which is the free product, that's really showing you your contracts, right? So here's your contracts, here's what you're billing for, revenue, profit, that kind of thing, right? So you will see that there, and you will be able to update there. So that in turn is your that would be your bundle if you're doing a user-based pricing. So it would say, if I've gone from, personally in my career, I've gone from device-based pricing, which everybody absolutely hated, because it's like, who really wants to go out and inventory desktops, laptops, switches, and yada, yada, every node in the world, right? That used to be the big word, what's a node, to user-based pricing. So in the user-based pricing, that's just a SKU number within your PSA, right? So whatever your particular name is for that. And then what you have, so what you'll have is on the billable side, you will see company XYZ has this many going on. And then you'll just say, okay, well, I've added a new service or a new user, a heartbeat, as we called it in the companies I work for. So you increase that to the bundle, right? Then where you would go on the backside is because you also understand the cost, right? Which is the billable pro, by importing the CSV files that Brian just showed you. You can see there what your cost is related to your bundles. So it really does both. The freemium, what we're calling the freemium version, that shows you your contracts or what you're charging per line item, regardless if that line item is a server, a switch, or a bundle. And then the backside is really showing you where your cost is associated to the items coming into that bundle.
I know there's more questions that you want to get to here, Tim, potentially, but at this stage, we are getting some requests for just basically, to sum it up, there's been a few different requests that have come my way in different wording that are essentially saying, okay, fine, we give up. Let us get into the product right now, please. So yeah, again, to make sure that it's very clear, this is easy, this is free. Even the Billable Pro product, you're not even asked for a credit card. You can try that out for free. It's very simple with a click to a single sign-on or a magic link. You fill in minimal information like your name, email address, company name, the country that you're in. Then you select your PSA if it's available on the list, which it likely is. If it isn't, let us know. And then put in the PSA credentials and get going right away for free and start working with the product. So Tim, can you drop the link for people to register into the chat? Because we want to serve people what they want. I will also just share my screen here. So the link that Tim's going to drop in is this. We've also set it up for ease that you have the ability with your phone right now to just QR code scan, go in, put minimal information in, and yeah, you're good to go. So yeah, I think we probably want to continue on with some questions here, but we also just wanted to make sure that if you guys just are done with Goldie and just want to get into the product, please do so. There's really no catches in this. I get that question all the time, like, what's the catch? Yeah, we have plans to offer more business operations automation. We have some potential use cases in mind. We have a lot of feedback from MSPs and from vendors. So do consider that side, that there's a lot of vendors that are talking to us about other potential business operations use cases that can serve even more value to the MSP community. But we're just really focused on Billable right now and making sure that Billable is offering as much value, as much automation, reducing as much time waste and as much pain in this task as we possibly can. So yeah, there's definitely plans for down the road, but yeah, if you want to get into the product, we've given you multiple options on how you can do that now. Just jump in and just do it. It's free. There's no credit cards. There's no catches. There's no worries. And then let us know. Give us the feedback. We want the feedback. So Tim, was there any other questions you wanted to dive in here?
No, I will just say, thanks, Mike. I appreciate you. So in true fashion, right? Like the link that I had copied was actually the Zoom link and not the sign up link. So Mike was gracious enough to throw that in there for me. And then I have added that again. So the direct link is in there. And here's the greatest thing that I could tell you guys. Simple, easy, and it shows you what you may not know, right? So that's the big thing we always ask in the industry is show me how to know what I don't know. Well, that's what this does, right? And we're continuing to add things to it so that you can see more and more of what you're not seeing or not easily seeing. So with that being said, the sign up link is in the chat. both Mike and myself have put in there at the end. You know, it's a fantastic thing to just go through and see it. And by all means, we're more than happy to help you out if you have any questions along the way.
Hey, Dave and Tim, I got a weird question for you. So some of those on there may not know. So I run the marketing here at Technology Marketing Toolkit and MSP Success and everything. And we were on with you guys last week. And my question after hearing everything, because you guys said it's free to sign up for 2 weeks, no credit card needed. Then you get like a 30-day trial so you can try it full access. So it's basically a month and a half. That sounded great. You guys explained to me how it saves MSPs hours of time and it's not just like, even if it only saves you a couple hours a month, it's like the most painful hours of your month, like the thing you hate doing the most. And from owning a business, I hated any minute I was spending in QuickBooks there. That was like the last thing I wanted to do. And then you were also talking about how like the average MSP is seeing like 20,000 to 70,000 in recouped profits. I mean, that's stuff that's just money leaking out the bucket. So my question, and like I said, it's a weird question coming from a marketing person, because I don't think want to answer it in marketing speak, but why literally would someone not try this? And there was a question that just came in that was kind of your answer on that, but just ask you, why would someone not want to just give this a try? Or what would their hesitation be?
I think the thing that we've seen is nothing. Like there's really no reason why somebody doesn't want to try this. What we found is, the first step is real easy. You got the single sign-on click, and then you fill in your information, and then it asks for PSI API credentials. And so what we're actually finding is most people don't take that next step because they're not the person that has access to that.
Right.
So if you're not the person that has access to that, and if you need some help, whatever that might be, in explaining to them why they need to take that step or provide you with that access, then let us know and we'll help with that. And then if it does come down to a security question, because I know there's a security question that came up there, you should not trust us. Just like you should not trust anybody else, you need to go and take a look at the information that we have available on the security of Gradient, which we are fully transparent. We can sit here all day and talk about how we're SOC 2 certified, how there's least access to the data. So like we are just accessing the most minimal amount of data possible to be able to perform the billing reconciliation. But yeah, we've got a whole page on our website that's dedicated to security. We are right now very close to hiring a director of security. So in these scenarios very soon, we'll just get you in touch with our director of security and you can dive as deep as you want into that. Because yeah, I think that was a concern that I anticipated, was people were going to say, I don't want to connect my PSA because that's the keys to the castle and I don't want anybody having access to that data. I mean, again, I can sit here all day and it is the truth that we ensure that that data is secure, that it's confidential, that it's anonymized, aggregated, protected, SOC 2 certified, all of those things. You're probably going to want some more information than that. So Tim, if you have the opportunity right now, copy and paste the link to our website that gives that security description. If anybody wants, any more information on that, we are telling you, yeah, absolutely. Whatever information you need to feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, that was a big thing last week. And then the other thing I expected to be kind of a hindrance for people was the amount of time it takes to get this going. I mean, we all know that there's so many great services and products in the channel, but so many you install and it takes, I'll say, hours, days, weeks, months, and a lot of those that can take months just never get fully implemented in theirs. So then I asked, how long does it take for someone once they sign up to get this up and running in their system?
Yeah, and I think you had gone to market fairly with 5 minutes. Essentially, let's go and let's discover this amount of revenue within 5 minutes. And that was sort of just like padding our promise, right? Like it takes minutes at the most. Like it's like click single sign on, fill in your info, PSA info, PSA API credential, bam, you're in. Like, and that sync between the PSA and Gradient and Billable, I've only seen it take seconds. So like, I don't know if it takes a minute, sure. But yeah, that promise of 5 minutes, we can deliver on the 5-minute promise. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I think is very helpful when you talk about giving people time back, adding revenue. I mean, there's a lot of tools that can do that, or it's extra things to sell. This isn't something you sell. This is something that it's protecting the money you've already earned. The other thing you guys brought up last week, Dave, that had talked with several companies about that they were interested in was the ability to bill like in the middle of the month rather than just wait till the first. I know Brian talked about that a little bit in the demo, but why is that important?
Tim, you seem eager to jump in. Why don't you answer a question if you got that one?
Yeah, why is it important? It's because, so here's traditionally what happens, right? You have a new customer sign up, whether it's a brand new customer or someone just calls you up and says, or submits an email, whatever your preferred method of entering tickets is, and says, hey, we've got a new user, or we've got a new client, or whatever this is, we're gonna set them up, right? So you go out as the MSP and you purchase the license, you do all the work, you get them set up, and it's all done before, let's say, the 15th of the month. So what happens is, as a company, as an MSP, you've extended your finances past the point of what you're going to receive any revenue on, right? So it's either you're just being good of heart saying, you know what, we're going to cover you the rest of this month, or you just simply don't know how to prorate, right? So what the product does, it gives you the ability to prorate. So if you have the work completed by the 10th, then you start charging them on the 11th, which means you're going to recover that revenue that traditionally you've not recovered because you've just ate it because there hasn't been a way to account for prorating. So that's why it's so important, because you have costs going out that you don't have any revenue coming in on. So allowing the companies to prorate via the product is going to allow them to put that revenue in their pocket much faster.
So no, that's a great answer, Tim. I mean, so many people just kind of accept it as a part of doing business, more or less, but it doesn't have to be a cost of doing business with this. I mean, you're giving months away of free service that can be easily recaptured with this. Now, Tim, as a person who's been in the seat, had the MSP run this, dealt with reconciliation and billing, what are your favorite parts of this program from the standpoint of being the owner of an MSP?
Well, one, it's free. So I love that, right? Because most of the time when you get into this, but then when you say free, right? Free is not free. It's what's the labor cost to get me involved in this, right? Well, here it's very minimal, right? So the product itself is free to try it out. The reality of setting it up is we provide the majority of the stuff. So if you got access to your PSA account and you can get that API set up, that's less than 5 minutes to set that API up. So you're automatically integrating. And within 5 to 10 minutes, right, I won't be a little bit more skeptical because that's my nature. Within 5 to 10 minutes, you're actually going to start seeing the population where you can compare that. The other thing I like about it is it keeps people that don't need to be in the PSA out of the PSA. So it's actually a security feature as well, right? So now I'm sending them to a portal to update the contracts versus them being in my PSA, because most of the time, those people that are in the PSA have an escalated level of security, even though they shouldn't. So there's several layers of this product that appeals to me from the standpoint of I can make someone more efficient. It can take less time. I can have a lower paid labor hour to get this done. And it's easily something that I can build into processes and procedures.
So no, that's awesome. And I know this, I mean, you guys, one of the cool things is this is like brand new. I mean, we haven't seen something like this out on the market before. I know it's early days, but do you guys have any numbers you're seeing from your partners so far? Whether it's the unclaimed revenue that they're now actually claiming and putting in their pocket, or anything like that, or is it just too new that you don't have any numbers at this point that you can at least share?
Yeah, the short answer is stay tuned. And then, our initial research was like 3 to 10% of an MSP's revenue, which is why we ran those numbers and why we drove people here today, and based upon sort of what the average MSP, maybe a $750,000 MSP. And then Yeah, the conversations that we're having it's a lot higher. You know, in a lot of cases, there's MSPs that are uncovering, like the highest number I've heard right now is 20%. So yeah, it's significant. It's at least, you know, like, come for the time savings, come for the pain relief, and then let's see if we can discover some revenue together.
Sure.
I haven't found an MSP that hasn't yet.
And let me add to that. So here's one of the ways I started looking at it. When I came over, I needed to really kind of wrap my head around, like, I knew what it did because I knew the old product, right? And that's what I loved, is it allowed me to clean up some of that data, because let's all admit it, our PSAs are not clean, right? Most of them have historical data that's extremely old. So I was familiar with the old product, Tidy, that we have since, what'd you call it, Goldie? There's a word that you called it.
Yeah, so Billable is actually our second product in the
Billable is our
market.
second product.
Tidy was our first product, which was a PSA cleaner, and we offered that free to the market just based upon MSPs telling us, hey, we need to clean up the PSA. And then there was also the anticipation of introducing Billable, and having a clean PSA might, you know, be helpful in the billing reconciliation piece of it. And so, yeah, November 17th at our Leg Up event last year, we put Tidy into hibernation. Is it coming back? Likely. When? We're not really sharing that yet, because we're really just focused on Billable and helping MSPs with billing reconciliation.
Thanks, sir. So when I came and looked at it, and I was like, okay, how do I wrap my hand around this, right? So you have Billable, which is what we're calling the freemium product, right? So that really shows you your revenue. What do you have coming in, right? That's the way I see it. Then you have Billable Pro, which is $49 a month, right? I guarantee you through freemium, I can save you that $600 a year, right? So 50 times 12, that's how MSPs think. They don't think in here, what's my monthly cost? They want to know what the yearly cost is, right? So 50 times 12 is $600 a year. I almost guarantee you that I can save you that $600 a year just in the free product to pay for the pro product, to show you where you have costs that you don't know that you still have those costs. I mean, how many times has someone who goes in and checks the books or checks what's being billed say, we got rid of that unit like 3 months ago. We got rid of that like 6 months ago. There's people out there that have stuff that's been there for years. That's what the pro product does. So if I can save you the cost of the pro product with the free product, and then multiply what your revenue is by recovering some costs, that's what really speaks to me, is it's showing both my incoming and my outgoing of my cash flow. And we all know MSPs live and die by cash flow.
I think we probably got to wrap up shortly here, but I know there's some questions that we likely didn't get the answer to. One being, do we integrate with Rev.io? I can't even begin to explain how many conversations they're having on the integration side of it. So short answer, we don't have an integration with Rev.io right now, but join us. That's what I'm talking about, is tell Rev.io, tell every other vendor that you want to integrate with Gradient to integrate with Gradient. It's likely that we are having conversations with most of them, but please don't make that assumption. We need your help. And the biggest way that you can help us is just get into the product, start giving us feedback on the product, start giving us feedback on what integrations are important to you. And we are on a mission to serve you. And we will go out and we will do whatever we can to get those integrations done, whether it's us building it, or what's more likely happening with a lot of these is the vendor themselves will build it back to us. So let them know and let us know what's important to you, and let's do it. I did want to say thank you for the feedback. I'm still growing. I definitely do hate time waste, so I'm going to be more concise, and I'm going to shorten things on the front end on the next presentation. Thank you. Tim and I talk about having the 2x4 feedback, and even though it hurts, pain is growth, and we're all growing. So let's grow together. Please do go to that link or scan the QR code and follow that process. It is free. There's really no catches. You'll get to experience it firsthand. Don't trust me. Trust yourself. Try it out for free. That's it. Thank you so much. And I hope I get to see some of you at some of the events in the community very soon. Reach out anytime. We'd love to help.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Dave, Tim, Brian, and thank you guys so much for being on with us. I think this tool will be incredibly helpful. And the cool thing is you got 45 days to test it out. So if you're already doing totally awesome and you don't need it, it hasn't cost you a dime on that end. Don't think that's what you'll see. But this is Mike Stoddole with MSP Success, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much and have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.